you hear me? Our dome is being attacked. Please, you must send help.
Look at this report. I want to know for certain. The exploitation of this planet can make us rich.
If we get rid of the colonists.
This is our world. You've no right to be here.
My corporation has been assigned the mineral rights on this planet.
Even if it means turning this planet into a slag heap.
What are you up to?
Just making a few tests.
Are you some kind of scientist?
I'm every kind of scientist.
What's good for IMC is good for Earth.
Earth or your corporation's profits?
A great honor to meet you, Adjudicator.
It's the Master.
We're not going to start a war. I've been chained to a bomb, hunted and shot at. Take your mark! As far as I'm concerned, the war's already started.
Get out of my way! I remind you that I am captain of this ship and I can have you executed without trial.
You will soon see the most powerful weapon ever created.
Get off this planet.
I'll send a fleet to wipe you out.
We're all going to die.
Look out!
You intend to hold the universe to ransom.
This planet could be the center of a mighty empire.
I will not join you in your absurd dreams of a galactic conquest.
Then die!
This is Michael Falkner, and it is showtime at the November 8th, 2011 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by the Chronic Rift. We have a jam-packed episode ahead of us, so let's get this party started with last week's box office results, starting with number 10 and Moneyball, down one spot from last week's 9th. At number 9 is The Ides of March, down one from 8th. And in 8th place, we have The Rum Diary, dropping 3 from 5th. In 7th, we find Real Steel, moving down 1 from 6th. And at 6th place is Footloose, slipping 2 places from last week's 5th. In 5th place is last week's 3rd, In Time, bringing in $7.5 million for a new total of $24 million. In 4th place is Paranormal Activity 2, down 2 from last week's 2nd place, with another $8.3 million and a total of $95 million. In 3rd is new release A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas, starting its run with $13 million, which is less than the previous outing, Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, and its $14.9 million start. In 2nd is new release Tower Heist, kicking off with $24 million. Other Ben Stiller comedies have performed better. Meet the Parents started out with $28.6 million. Starsky and Hutch with $28.1 million. Along Came Polly with $27.7 million. And Tropic Thunder with $25.8 million. Eddie Murphy's other outings have fared better as well, counting Norbit's $34.2 million start and The Nutty Professor's $25.4 million start. But the new releases couldn't stop the run for this week's top film, Puss in Boots, which earned another $33 million for a total of $76 million. With a 3% drop over the last week, that's the smallest non-holiday decline ever for a saturated release, which means being in over 2,500 theaters. Additionally, it's the smallest drop for a very wide release, meaning a release over 2,000 theaters, since 2000's My Dog Skip. November 11th brings us some fresh blood to put the cat out, starting with Immortals, a fantasy action drama starring Henry Cavill, Mickey Rourke, and John Hurt.
I have plenty of women. I have plenty of weapons. I have moved every precious stone your people worship upon. And my mark will be left on this world forever.
No!
The Herculean king, Hyperion, has declared war on all of humanity.
If any of you influence the affairs of mankind, the punishment will be severe. If there is one human who could lead them against Hyperion, it would be Theseus.
The gods may be on your side, but your dream has just begun.
those who much is given, much is lost.
Today, we are offered something we would never have. Today, we fight for honor. Fight for your future. Fight for your children. Fight for immortality.
Chose well.
Theseus is a mortal man chosen by Zeus to lead the fight against the ruthless King Hyperion, who is on a rampage across Greece to obtain a weapon that can destroy humanity. Immortals is rated R. Next up is J. Edgar, a biographical drama starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Armie Hammer, and Naomi Watts.
When morals decline and good men do nothing, evil flourishes. A society unwilling to learn from the past is doomed. We must never forget our history. We must never lower our guard.
Edgar, you will rise to be the most powerful man in the country.
It is my belief that when a man becomes a part of this bureau, he must so conduct himself as to eliminate even the slightest possibility of criticism as to his conduct.
Mr. Tolson, I need someone who I can trust. I want you to be my number 2 man. You understand? I need you.
Imagine if every citizen in this country were uniquely identifiable by the pattern on their fingers. Imagine how quickly we could find them if they committed a crime.
You remember that file we created on his wife?
Mrs. Roosevelt.
Will you make a copy for me, please?
Is that legal?
Sometimes you need to bend the rules a little in order to keep your country safe.
Please leave the transcripts here with me.
Feel free and share them with your brother, Mr. Kennedy. Let him know that I have a copy of my own. The president is afraid.
All the admiration in the world can't fill the spot where love goes.
We are the sinners, Edgar. We tolerated lawlessness in the land until it grew to diabolical proportions. The blood is on your hands, Edgar.
What are your exact qualifications for your position of leadership in this bureau?
My qualifications, sir? I don't know who I can trust anymore.
I see right through you. You're a scared, heartless, horrible little man.
Don't wilt like a little flower. Be strong.
Yes, Mother. It's time this generation learned the difference between villain and hero. Even great men can be corrupted.
As the face of law enforcement in America for almost 50 years, J. Edgar Hoover was feared and admired, reviled and revered. But behind closed doors, he held secrets that would have destroyed his image, his career, and his life. J. Edgar is rated R and releases on November 9th. And the last film on the wide release slate for November 11th is Jack and Jill, a comedy starring Adam Sandler, Katie Holmes, and Al Pacino.
In every family, there's one person who drives you a little crazy.
I gotta pick Jill up at 4 in the morning.
She comes once a year and she's leaving on Sunday.
But during the holidays,
Jack, no fighting this year.
there's no escaping it when it's your sister.
How we doing?
Your twin sister.
Are you going bald? Huh? No, you're getting fatter and your hair doesn't realize it needs to cover more face. Okay.
From the producers of Just Go With It and Grown Ups.
And Jill are so alike.
We are nothing alike, I promise you. She isn't subtle.
Jill, this is Otto.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you!
He's homeless, right?
Are you whispering with a bullhorn or something? Everybody hears you.
She isn't shy.
I put a little list together of things I want to do before I leave. Studio tour, beach, horseback riding. Let's go! Oh! Oh my God! Maybe I should stay out through Hanukkah.
And she isn't leaving.
She's forwarding her mail to us now!
What's this about a twin?
Oh, Jackie has a twin sister.
Identical or fraternal?
Nocturnal, like a bat.
This fall.
Seriously, honey? Can't you try a little harder? She's your sister. Guess who is taking you to the Lakers game?
Finally some twin time.
Compliments of Mr. Pacino.
What's this? This is insane, man. You gotta call him. Oh, will you stop, Reddy? You know all he wants to do is play Twister with your sister.
Family.
Daddy, you know how to jump rope?
We were the Double Dutch King.
Is forever.
I crave this. Family time.
Please don't destroy my pool.
Adam Sandler is.
Your sister and I grew up on the same streets. When I look at her, I see me.
When I look at her, I see me too.
Jack and Jill.
Do you and Daddy have twin powers?
Some twins can feel when the other one's hurt.
I didn't feel it. A little harder.
No, Jill, stop it. He's kidding.
What? Oh!
Hear that, Daddy?
I actually did feel something there. Pride in my son.
Family Guy Jack Saddlestein prepares for the annual event he dreads, the Thanksgiving visit of his identical twin sister, the needy and passive-aggressive Jill, who then refuses to leave. Jack and Jill is rated PG. The limited release slate kicks off with Melancholia, a sci-fi drama starring Kirsten Dunst, Charlotte Gainsborough, and Kiefer Sutherland. Two sisters find their already strained relationship challenged as a mysterious new planet threatens to collide into the Earth. Melancholia is rated R and opens this week in Los Angeles and New York. Next up is London Boulevard, a romantic crime drama starring Colin Farrell, Keira Knightley, and Ray Winstone. An ex-con hired to look after a reclusive young actress finds himself falling in love, which puts him in direct confrontation with one of London's most vicious gangsters. London Boulevard is rated R. Next up, we have Into the Abyss, a documentary starring Jason Burkett, Werner Herzog, and Michael Perry. Conversations with death row inmate Michael Perry and those affected by his crime serve as an examination of why people and the state kill. Into the Abyss is rated PG-13. Next we have Elite Squad, The Enemy Within, a Brazilian action crime drama starring Wagner Moura, Irandir Santos, and Andre Ramiro. After a prison riot, Captain Nascimento, now a high-ranking security officer in Rio de Janeiro, is swept into a bloody political dispute that involves government officials and paramilitary groups. Elite Squad, The Enemy Within is unrated and premieres in New York City. And last on our list is 11-11-11, a horror thriller starring Timothy Gibbs, Michael Landis, and Brendan Price. After the death of his wife and his child, an author travels to Barcelona to see his estranged brother and dying father, where he learns that his life is plagued by events that occur on 11-11-11. 11-11-11 is not rated. If home entertainment is your thing, then November 8th might just be your day, starting off with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, a fantasy adventure drama starring Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. Harry, Ron, and Hermione search for Voldemort's remaining Horcruxes in their effort to destroy the Dark Lord. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is rated PG-13. Also coming this week in The Adventures of the Boy Who Lived is Harry Potter The Complete Collection, Years 1 through 7, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. This box set contains Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, The Chamber of Secrets, The Prisoner of Azkaban, The Goblet of Fire, The Order of the Phoenix, The Half-Blood Prince, The Deathly Hallows Part 1, and the aforementioned Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is the last chance for you to own all the Harry Potter films before Warner Bros. Stops producing the DVDs for about a year or so. The Sorcerer's Stone, The Chamber of Secrets, The Prisoner of Azkaban, and The Half-Blood Prince are rated PG. The Goblet of Fire, The Order of the Phoenix, The Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2 are rated PG-13. Next up, we have Atlas Shrugged, Part 1, a mystery drama starring Taylor Schilling, Grant Bowler, and Edie Gathegi. Based on the 1957 novel by Ayn Rand, a powerful railroad executive, Danya Taggart, struggles to keep her business alive while society is crumbling around her. Atlas Shrugged Part 1 is rated PG-13. Next up is The Change Up, a comedy starring Jason Bateman, Ryan Reynolds, and Olivia Wilde. A married father accidentally switches bodies with his best friend, leading to a series of wildly complex difficulties. The Change Up is rated R. Next is Life in a Day, starring Cindy Bayer, Moika, and Karen Wacketer. Life in the Day is a documentary shot by filmmakers all over the world that serves as a time capsule to show future generations what it was like to be alive on the 24th of July, 2010. Life in the Day is rated PG-13. And last on the list for the new releases is Rush, Time Machine 2011, live in Cleveland, a concert documentary starring the band Rush. Time Machine 2011, live in Cleveland, is an evening with Rush, performing their classic hits and features the legendary Moving Pictures album, performed live in its entirety. Released in 1981, Moving Pictures is their most successful album, certified 4 times platinum, and features some of the band's most well-known songs and perennial radio favorites, including Tom Sawyer, Limelight, and the Grammy-nominated instrumental YYZ. Filmed in April 2011 in Cleveland during the renowned trio's extensive world tour, Time Machine 2011 Live in Cleveland marks the band's first live concert filmed in the United States.
When I was a little girl, I had an imaginary friend. And when I grew up, he came back. He's called the Doctor. He comes from somewhere else. He's got a box called the TARDIS that's bigger on the inside and can travel anywhere in time and space. I ran away with him, and we've been running ever since.
Moving right along to TV on DVD, we start off with Doctor Who, the 6th series, Part 2, starring Matt Smith, Karen Gillan, and Arthur Darvill. The truth about River Song is out, and the time has come for the Doctor to face his greatest demons. Venturing across centuries and galaxies, the Doctor, Amy, and Rory will encounter the greatest war criminal in all of history, Hitler. Together they discover there's no scarier place in the universe than a child's bedroom, and a visit to an alien quarantine facility will reveal to Rory a very different side to his wife. In a hotel where walls move, corridors twist, and rooms vanish, death lies waiting. But the Doctor's time has yet to come. He has one last stop to make on his final journey. An old friend needs his help, and an old foe must be defeated. But time catches up with us all, and the Doctor can delay no more. By the shores of Lake Silencio in Utah, all of time and space hang in the balance, and a NASA astronaut is waiting. Next up, from the 11th to the 3rd, we have Doctor Who Colony in Space, starring John Pertwee, Katie Manning, and Nicholas Courtney. The Time Lords discover that the Master has stolen their secret file on the Doomsday weapon, and decide to send the 3rd Doctor and Jo on to retrieve it for them. The Doctor finds himself on an alien planet in the middle of a territorial dispute between peaceful colonists and the Interplanetary Mining Corporation. Next on our list is a big one, Law & Order, the complete series, starring George Dzunda, Chris Noth, Dan Florek, and so many other actors over 20 years. The Emmy-winning series Law & Order is the longest-running crime series of all time, and you now hold a complete collection worthy of its iconic status. This incredible set includes every episode made from Law & Order's 20 years on NBC, and comes with an exclusive and collectible episode guide. For 20 seasons, Dick Wolf's primetime series covered the dedicated New York City police who investigated crimes, and the district attorneys who prosecuted the offenders. Known for its hard-hitting, rip-from-the-headline style, the series showcased the talents of numerous illustrious stars from stage, film, and television. Rediscover Law & Order's intelligent writing and the riveting acting that inspired a brand of successful dramas that continues to captivate audiences around the globe. And last on the TV on DVD slate, we have Mr. Magoo, the television collection, 1960 to 1977, starring Jim Backus, Mel Blanc, and Jerry Hausner. Beginning in 1949, Mr. Magoo has bumbled his way to good fortune for more than 6 decades. His endearing misadventures in everyday life and his stubborn self-confidence have entertained generations. Voiced by multi-talented comedic actor Jim Backus, the nearsighted Mr. Magoo was an instant hit and went on to become a classic animated character starring in 2 Academy Award-winning theatrical shorts, 3 television series, and 2 television specials. This special collector's edition brings together for the first time on DVD all 3 television series in one deluxe collection. Over 180 cartoons, over 31 hours of Magoo's hilarious misadventures in one fun-filled set. Next, we take a look at a web series coming to DVD, Mortal Kombat Legacy, starring Johnson Fan, Jolene Tran, Darren Shalabi, and Michael High White. Tear into the origins of the legendary tournament that pits the world's greatest warriors against the forces of the Outworld in the fight to save our planet. This series was a free web series with a potential to relaunch the Mortal Kombat movie franchise and is available on Blu-ray only. Next, we look at classics coming to Blu-ray, and we start off with Blue Velvet from 1986, a crime thriller starring Isabella Rossellini, Kyle MacLachlan, and Dennis Hopper. After finding a severed human ear in a field, a young man soon discovers a sinister underworld lying just beneath his idyllic suburban hometown. Blue Velvet is rated R. Next up is The Cannonball Run from 1981, an action comedy starring Burt Reynolds, Roger Moore, and Farrah Fawcett. A wide variety of eccentric competitors participate in a wild and illegal cross-country car race. The Cannonball Run is rated PG. Next is The Fisher King from 1991, a comedic drama starring Jeff Bridges, Robin Williams, and Adam Bryant. A former radio DJ, suicidally despondent because of a terrible mistake he made, finds redemption in helping a deranged homeless man who is an unwitting victim of that mistake. The Fisher King is rated R. Next up is Gia from 1998, a biographical drama starring Angelina Jolie, Faye Dunaway, and Elizabeth Mitchell. Gia is the life story of Gia Karangi, a top fashion model from the late 1970s. Gia is rated R. Next we move to the high seas with Mutiny on the Bounty from 1962, a historical drama starring Marlon Brando, Trevor Howard, and Richard Harris. The HMS Bounty leaves Portsmouth in 1787. Its destination, to sail to Tahiti and load breadfruit. Captain Bligh will do anything to get there as fast as possible, using any means to keep up a strict discipline, and when they reach Tahiti, it's like a paradise for the crew. On the way back to England, the crew decides to do something about their living hell on the sea. Mutiny on the Bounty is not rated. Next is Little Big Man from 1970, a historical drama starring Dustin Hoffman, Faye Dunaway, and Chief Dan George. Jack Crabb, looking back from extreme old age, tells of his life being raised by Indians and fighting with General Custer. Little Big Man is not rated. Next on our list is To Die For from 1995, a crime comedy starring Nicole Kidman, Matt Dillon, and Joaquin Phoenix. Suzanne Stone is an aspiring TV personality who will do anything to be in the spotlight, including enlisting 3 teenagers to kill her husband. To Die For is rated R. Next we have Absence of Malice from 1981, a romantic drama starring Paul Newman, Sally Field, and Bob Balaban. When a prosecutor leaks a false story that a liquor warehouse owner is involved in the murder of a union head, the man's life begins to unravel. Absence of Malice is rated PG. Next up, we have Executive Decision from 1996, an action thriller starring Kurt Russell, Halle Berry, and Steven Seagal. When terrorists seize control of an airliner, an intelligence analyst accompanies a commando unit for a mid-air boarding operation. Executive Decision is rated R. And finally, in the maybe not really classics, but still Blu-ray releases category, Disney is putting out 4 films on store shelves in their 3-disc combo packages that contain a 3D Blu-ray, a Blu-ray disc, and a DVD for each title. We start with Meet the Robinsons from 2007, starring Daniel Hansen, Wesley Singerman, and Angela Bassett. Lewis is a brilliant inventor who meets a mysterious stranger named Wilbur Robinson, whisking Lewis away in a time machine, and together they team up to track down Bowler Hat Guy in a showdown that ends with an unexpected twist of fate. Meet the Robinsons is rated G. The second on that list is Chicken Little from 2005, starring Zach Braff, Joan Cusack, and Gary Marshall. After ruining his reputation with the town, a courageous chicken must come to the rescue of his fellow citizens when aliens start an invasion. Chicken Little is rated G. Next we move on to Bolt from 2008, starring John Travolta, Miley Cyrus, and Susie Essman. The canine star of a fictional sci-fi action show believes that his powers are real, and embarks on a cross-country trek to save his co-star from a threat that he believes is just as real. Bolt is rated PG. And rounding out this week's list is G-Force from 2009, starring Will Arnett, Penelope Cruz, and Zach Galifianakis. A specially trained squad of guinea pigs is dispatched to stop a diabolical billionaire from taking over the world. G-Force is rated PG. Let's round this show out with a handful of items in the Quick Flicks. After a long wait for some substantial news about James Bond, we finally have some. On November 3rd, Eon Productions confirmed that the next installment for the British super spy with a license to kill will be called Skyfall, a title that producers Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli claim has some emotional context to be revealed in the film. Skyfall will be a standalone story from Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, and will not be based on any of Ian Fleming's work. From the synopsis, quote, Bond's loyalty to M is tested as her past comes back to haunt her. As MI6 comes under attack, 007 must track down and destroy the threat, no matter how personal the cost, end quote. Javier Bardem will be the villain this time around, but Eon is keeping his character under wraps. Naomi Harris was previously rumored to be playing Miss Moneypenny, but the news conference revealed that she'll play a field agent named Eve. Meanwhile, Baron H.A. Marlowe will play a glamorous, enigmatic character named Severin, and Dame Judi Dench and Daniel Craig will be reprising their epic roles. Skyfall will also star Ben Whishaw, Ralph Fiennes, and Albert Finney. In the Department of Debunkery, Eons denied rumors that the budget had been cut by $100 million and that the script had been significantly changed. Skyfall will shoot all around the world, including going on location in London, Scotland, Shanghai, and Istanbul. Skyfall will premiere on October 26, 2012 in the United Kingdom and November 9th, 2012 in the United States. Would you like to be in the next Batman film? Composer Hans Zimmer is inviting anyone to contribute their voice to the score of The Dark Knight Rises. The basic idea is that you can record a chant, and it may be incorporated with other submissions into the score. Details are available with a post from Zimmer at UJam.com. Quote, "I'm shining the bat signal up in the air to call you all. We need to hear your voices, now and loud. We are creating the sound of a worldwide chant. Everyone come and be part of it. It's easy. There is no such thing as out of tune, no timing we can't fix later. If you mumble, growl, scream, or whisper, it's all good. Make it yours. If you only get halfway through, no problem. Do it alone, bring your friends, but do it with energy and commitment. Let your voice be heard and be a part of our adventure. So we need every one of you out there to join. By signing up for recording your voice, you could be a part of The Dark Knight Rises." End quote. There's also a sample of the chant provided at the link, which will be in the show notes. J.J. Abrams wants a villain to plague the crew of the Starship Enterprise, and he wants Benicio del Toro to play him. The rumor is that Abrams wouldn't tell del Toro what the role was when they met, but I know that I'm personally against it being Khan. Please, JJ, don't go down that road again. No Khan. The Star Trek sequel, which is not Star Trek II, does not have an official release date, but is likely to be out in the summer of 2013. I told you a while ago about director Ridley Scott's plans to make a follow-up to the 1982 classic Blade Runner. Well, it appears now that it's going to be a sequel. Scott told the Wall Street Journal that he's close to finding a writer and that the project is, quote, quite a long way in, end quote. The sequel will move ahead without the previous cast, including Deckard, as played by Harrison Ford. Before Ridley Scott moves on to Blade Runner, he has to wrap up his current project called Prometheus, which is rumored to be a prequel to a small little movie directed by Scott in 1979 called Alien. From the synopsis, Prometheus will create a groundbreaking mythology in which a team of explorers discover a clue to the origins of mankind on Earth, leading them to a thrilling journey to the darkest corners of the universe. There, they must fight a terrifying battle to save the future of the human race. Scott told the Wall Street Journal that the last 8 minutes of the Prometheus story evolve into a pretty good DNA of the Alien one. He also talked about the title and the theme, which he references from the mythological story of Prometheus, about a higher being who tried to take fire from the gods. Scott said that, quote, "Fire is our first form of technology," end quote, and for the theft of the fire, that being is punished in perpetuity in a horrible fashion. Prometheus stars Noomi Rapace, Michael Fassbender, and Charlize Theron, and will be released on June 8th, 2012. If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicgriff.com and leave a note in the forums. Leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010 or write to john@chronicgriff.com. You can follow us on Tumblr, tweet us on Twitter, check in the network on GetGlue, and leave us a review on iTunes. You can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Grift on Facebook. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Grift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a collaboration of Critter Criticality and Lucky Shot Productions. This is Michael Falkner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you at the theater.
Present sounds come to my existence. your pain before your mind. Know me. Am I the Doctor?